So we've got quite a lot to cover. We're going to jump straight in. And unfortunately, we have to start with the awkward introduction. For those of you who don't know me, you've never met me before. Hi, my name is Catherine George, and I help businesses and brands from all over the world of all shapes and sizes to get tangible results from their social media marketing. I own a company called Oso Social. We're international multi-award winning social media marketing experts. Try saying that after you've had a few drinks. I own a sister company called Oso Savvy. I'm a Meta Blueprint lead trainer, certified ads buyer across all the platforms. So hopefully I know what I'm talking about. She says hopefully. Side caveat, I always should try to warn people. I think I'm funny. I know I'm not, but I appreciate token laughs as I go. So today is super cool for me because I get to talk about influencer marketing. And influencer marketing is probably one of the most polarizing elements of my job as a social media manager. Some people absolutely love influencer marketing, some people hate it, and some people kind of want to love it, but they're a little bit resistant. It gets some bad press. I'm not going to lie to you. Influencer marketing, I think, sometimes gets a bit of a hard time. But today, I'm going to talk you through everything you need to know. It's always a little bit tricky when you're in a big group setting, but hopefully, I've ticked all the boxes. And by the end of the hour, you'll be able to know if it's going to work for you, if you're going to give it a try, and where to start. So I'm going to start by looking back at what influencer marketing actually is. And I think my face might be over some of this. So influencer marketing is a type of social media marketing that promotes and endorses products via mentions from influencers. So an influencer is a person that has a dedicated social following and is seen as an expert, a leader in their sector, or they're just seen as someone that everybody wants to be. People aspire towards influencers now. There is something about them that people love and are interested in. It's almost like hero worshipping or everyday celebrity. Influencer marketing can be really successful, and it's due to the trust. So, within influencer marketing, we need to get our heads away from, oh, we're paying someone or we're giving someone. What we need to start thinking about is what we're getting from them. And 9 times out of 10, that is actually content and trust. I'll talk about those a bit later as we go along. So I know lots of people on this call are going to be thinking or saying, I think I'm interested in influence marketing, but I have a really strange niche. I have a weird product or service. I'm looking for a very specific audience, or I'm B2B. Well, the great news is influencers are absolutely everywhere. And that is not an exaggeration. There is an influencer for every type of business if you know where to look for them and if you know what you're looking for. Again, I'm going to talk you through that today. So there are influencers in B2C, fashion, makeup. I know a stationery influencer, art, crafts, gin, you name it. There are loads of dog influencers, not their humans, but the dogs themselves. Cats, horses. I follow a duck on TikTok. I will never be as famous as that duck. Bakers, makers, animals. If you say to me, my niche won't be there, I will argue with you on this. Sorry, tongue-tied this morning. Partially because as well, I'm an influencer myself. And interestingly, I'm a business influencer in my day-to-day life. And then I head over to TikTok and I'm an autoimmune influencer where I just talk about my autoimmune disease. Influencers are everywhere and they will cover your niche if you're prepared to put in the groundwork and look for them. That could be said about every part of social media marketing. Spending the time really understanding your audience and understanding where they are is the fundamental to get it right. So I promise you, there will be influencers out there somewhere. So, what can influencer marketing actually do for your business? What's the reason why we are doing this? Well, one of the biggest reasons is it allows you to reach new audiences. So, without giving you all a long lecture in evolutionary psychology and why social media is so addictive and why it works so well, basically, you follow people that you aspire to. You're friends with people you have commonality with. Across all social media, we are working on the psychology of friendships and aspiration. So when we start looking and working with influencers, it allows you to reach their audiences, which hopefully are new audiences to you with very, very minimal effort on your side. Think of your influencer as a tour guide. They know the audience, they know where they're going. The audience trusts them and already has invested interest in them. And what we're doing by utilizing that influencer is giving that audience something new. We can use influencers to affect our brand positioning. So, if we have a really clear idea of where we want our brand to sit in a marketing space, or if we are looking to push really clear credentials, like green credentials, inclusivity credentials, anything like this, finding an influencer who already champions that message can leverage your black brand positioning for, again, very low cost and very minimal effort from you. You can align your brand, your business with that influencer. It's why it's so important to do your influencer research. Again, I'm talking to you about that later. One of my favorite reasons for using influencers is to trigger FOMO. So, again, without giving you an evolutionary psychology lecture, we are programmed as humans to remember what we are scared of. Now, when we were all cave people, we were scared of lions and tigers and bears. We're not scared of those anymore, but we are scared of missing out. We are scared of FOMO. That means by using influencers, you are triggering that FOMO fear. This influencer has got this product or this service, and they're sharing how great their life is now. They could be offering a discount code. Hopefully, they're doing some form of leveraging. Well, if I don't take that action now, I might miss out. And then I can't have that life that this influencer has, which is what I'm aspiring to have. So you can use your influencers to trigger an evolutionary psychological response and encourage your new potential customers with your new audience on the fear of missing out. And the fear of missing out is so real. For those of you who are interested, there is now a FOBO as well, which is the fear of a better offer. So think about this. Think about FOMO and think about FOBO. How can you use your influencers to trigger these two things which always drive responses and traction? And then finally, and this is the real reason you are using influencers, is you are borrowing their trust. It's really hard when you're a small business to get people to trust you. It's why if you've been on a talk with me or Mark Tompkins, we taught you so much about Google reviews and social reviews and user-generated content, because that's not you saying to your audience, hey guys, I'm really trustworthy. Hey guys, this product is great. Hi, this service is going to make your life better. It's other people saying how good it is. And naturally, when someone says something to you, they recommend something to you, you're more likely to believe it than if you just read it online. But when you follow an influencer, when you trust that person, when you have on a psychological level a relationship with that person, and they start talking about a new product or a new service, you are going to believe them. So, us as businesses are borrowing that influencer's trust and those relationships already built up with your new audience. And we do this in a few different ways. So, we do this by encouraging relationships and getting content. But we also need to be so aware as marketeers and as business owners that the best type of user-generated content is real. Everyone wants user-generated content. Your social media marketing in 2025 and on to 2026 should be lo-fi and authentic. And that means it should include a big element of UGC, so user-generated content. That means it's you encouraging your audience to pick up your phone and take pictures. This is why we can use influencers so well, because if we can trigger them to create this user-generated content, all of a sudden people start to trust you more and they start to see what the product, what the service, what the experience is really going to look like. They're going to be able to picture themselves in those shoes. And once you get them to picture that, that is how you are going to get sales. So, influencer marketing is basically social proof. And social proof is what we all want, not only in social media marketing, but in all sorts of marketing. Social proof is so big across digital because it gives you real feedback, it builds trust, it removes barriers, it removes the fear of getting a better offer or the fear of the product not arriving. And it also increases in-group mentality. So again, psychologically, we are all trying to fit in. We are all trying to find our community. If we aspire to an influencer and they suddenly start wearing a fleece that we all love and want, we are more likely to buy it so we feel like we belong. So great. Hopefully now I'm in the process of encouraging you all and thinking, getting into the mindset of thinking that influencer marketing is probably quite valuable. So let's talk about what influencers look like. And I've already told you they can be in anywhere, any sector, any platform. But how do we really split that down from a technical point of view and from a business point of view? So we start with our nano influencers. So nano influencers are people with 1 to 10,000 followers. I actually love nano influencers. And even for really big international corporations, they will use nano influencers as part of their strategy. So don't sit there and go, oh, what's the point? These guys are my favorite to work with and they can bring the best results. And that's because they tend to have a very genuine, loyal, interested following. So they tend to have a smaller number, below 10,000, but they do normally have much higher engagement rates. The followers of a nano influencer really, really care about them. The other great reason of why we love nano influencers is they're likely to work in exchange for gifts and products. So we don't have to give a large monetary investment. These are also great for local influencers. So if you need to do something locally, a lot of the smaller business influencers sit in this category, and a lot of the up and coming lifestyle influencers as well. So then we have micro influencers. So micro influencers sit between 10 and 50,000 followers. The content does tend to be either super polished or less polished than your kind of top tier influencers, but very authentic. So this is one that I really like. This is Teddy the Bernese Mountain Dog. And great account, very real, showcases its genuine life with its human and its adventures. At this point, when you hit micro influencer level, this is where people start to ask for monetary payment. How much that monetary payment varies genuinely does vary depending on the sector, depending on who else gives to them, who else is involved with them. And it's another great reason why working with nano influencers is awesome, because if you can get them at that stage of their journey When they become micro influencers, they're more likely to remember you and work for you at a much lower price. So then we have our mid-tier influencers. So these are at a near celebrity status. The content can be more professional. You can tell they're starting to invest quite heavily in their content, but it's still a very trusted audience. This is where paid comes in. So this is a very interesting example. So this is actually a non-profit animal sanctuary. I've tried to get like a good range during this talk for exotic animals, and it is completely funded by influencer management. It is paid and funded for by its followers. It's paid for by other influencers. It's paid for by businesses who are trying to promote specific content. So once you hit mid-tier, this is where you tend to find your full-time influencers who are after payment or affiliate link or brand ambassador status. We're going to talk about all those things too. And then we have our top tier guys. So these are way out of the reach of many small businesses. These are things where you have your 500,000 to over 1 million followers. These are your Kardashians. These are your professional YouTubers. These are the guys who it is their absolute living. They're probably selling merchandise and they know how expensive it is to work with them. Another example of how influencers can be anyone and everything. This is Luke, who's a school teacher, sharing stories about preschool students and other insights to becoming a teacher. So there really is an influencer account for everyone. But for us as small businesses, we need to be focusing on our nano, our micro influencers, and the few curveballs I'm going to speak to you about next. So bloggers and vloggers get forgotten about in influencer marketing, and they get forgotten about in social media marketing. And that makes me really sad because bloggers and vloggers can actually help you with all areas of your marketing in a much more evergreen way. So these will include web links from their accounts. So they could, again, be gifted, maybe be paid, write a blog about it, put a backlink in. That helps your SEO. It also helps build trust and web trust on Google. It can include videos on YouTube, which will optimize for search. So bloggers and vloggers often get forgotten about now. Sometimes they are massive, mega influencers. Other times they are the nano and micro influencers, but they can deliver more bang for your buck, a bigger return on investment because you have this long-standing evidence, not just, hey guys, can you do a post on your Instagram feed? Instead, you end up with a longevity piece of content. So if you are thinking about influencers, don't be afraid to look for some traditional bloggers and vloggers as well. So if you want to really utilize influencer marketing, if it is something you think you want to bring in on board to your marketing strategy and your social strategy all the time, think about brand ambassadors. So these are influencers who you have a long-term relationship with. So they're normally already engaged customers, but again, they can be niches or they can be just some big hard hitters. So both of these are, one is Mr. Beast. As you know, he is a mega influencer, but he sells products using Shopify. So he is already on board. And what you will find in these relationships is not only will you potentially get paid as a one-off, but you will get an ongoing return on investment for your time. So the influencers will get paid via an affiliate link. The more they naturally promote the product, the service, what you're doing, the more they will get paid. Brand ambassadors normally come with an affiliate code. So I am a brand ambassador for Agora Pulse scheduling software, and they give us a code so people can try the software for free. We use brand ambassadors across almost every client at Oh So Social. And when we give them ambassadorships and when we give them affiliate links, so a link that they can share a discount or a reward to their audience, everything becomes easier and they start working harder for you because it becomes this really great long-term relationship. So if this works, if you test it and it works, think about switching to an ambassadorship model. So that leads us quite nicely into B2B influencers. So this slide was really hard to figure out where to put in this deck because people never think about business to business influencers. And they are my absolute favorite type of influencer. And they work really well because B2B influencers aren't celebrities, they're experts. They are normally experts in a specific field, or they could be well known in a specific area, so a locality or a specific area of business. If you are a B2B business, really consider business to business influencers and look for experts and look for niches because that is where you are going to trigger the best results. Don't focus too much on followers, focus on engagement rates. The great thing with business to business influencers and why it tends to work so well is those audiences are genuinely very open to advice and guidance. If you are following a business account, it's because you are potentially thinking about starting a business, because you are already in business, and it's because you're looking for support. So B2B influencers are cost effective, they can bring you great results, and business to business brand ambassadorship really can supercharge your business and change the way it works. If you don't believe me, look at Constant Contact and Adobe, who are currently using very heavy business to business influencer marketing strategies, and they are working phenomenally. So I know this is a little bit death by PowerPoint. I can get the slides to everyone. But the key thing to remember when you are looking for your influencers is they look like your customer. They could look like how your customer aspires to look. It could be that is the goal. It could be your customer's unicorn life, so the one they would love to live. But just remember, if you're going to use influencers, make sure they look like your customer and they hang out and they spend time where your customers are. So now we've done that heavy bit of thinking. When is the right time to use influencer marketing? And I get asked this question a lot. And I'm really sorry, there isn't a hard and fast answer. But I can tell you that influencer marketing can work really well at every stage of your business. So, one of my favorite times to use influencer marketing is the startup phase. And that's because it's really low risk and it's really low cost. It allows proven existing influencers to find your audience for you. It can create some really early social proof, which is what we need when we're looking for those first sales. And from a customer's point of view, it removes risk. They trust the influencer is actively supporting your new business. The customer trusts the influencer trusts you. Therefore, your customer trusts you. I also love using influencers for startups because you'll get really good content. It allows you to understand what works for your business and test them. Bring in a few different types of influencer during startup, and that will allow you to really figure out, okay, my audience maybe looks more like influencer B than influencer C. Learn from them. Take the amazing user generated content, take that trust, take the learnings, and help them leverage your startup during your growth phase. So this is, you've got through those initial tricky 3 to 6 months and you're doing it. You've got there. So When you start to become more of a business, this is a great time to use them. So when you are growing and you need to kind of increase your market share, increase your audience, it's really important to get seen as many places as possible. Again, that helps to build trust, it helps to trigger FOMO, it helps to get traction going. So implementing your influencers then is a really great time to kind of supercharge that growth phase of your business. And then when you've done it, when you are an established business, use your influencers to help keep your market share, to help keep your content fresh, to help you keep building your market, and to help bring those new audiences in, keep them coming all of the time. For all of our established clients, we use influencers around sales. So we use them to bring in really great social proof. So instead of us going, "Hi, we're on sale," we get an influencer to go, "I've had the best experience with this product, with this service, and great news, you can do it too, and it's on sale now." So basically, remember the time is always right to use influencer marketing, as long as you have a good reason to do it. Don't just go, "Oh, I'm going to do influencers today." Think really long and hard about what you're trying to achieve with your influencers and your influencer marketing. Also, make sure you've taken the time to do the squirrely work first. I call it the squirrely work because it all makes us feel uncomfortable in our stomach. But that squirrely work is knowing your customer, knowing your audience, and knowing what you want to achieve. So, how do you do it? Catherine, this sounds great. How do I start? Well, we're going to have to start with our customer. Understanding your customer is vital before you do any influencer marketing. The more you understand who you're selling to and what you're really selling to them, the easier influencer marketing becomes. That means you need to start with a customer profile. Now, I know I've got some seasoned pros on this call. I know I've got people who really understand who their customer is, but always revisit this piece of work. Ask yourself these questions and ask yourself the really important ones. What is the reason they are buying? And what problem are you solving for them? Because when it comes to influencer marketing, we really need to get our head around what people are doing online, because this helps us pick our influencers and helps us to understand if influencer marketing is actually going to work for us. So ask yourself these questions. Is my audience actually influenced by social media? Most people are these days. What social media networks do they use? Where are they hanging out? Where are they spending their time? And why are they using this platform? Big thing with all social media marketing. Always ask yourself why they are using this platform. Because if they aren't in the headspace to engage with you, use a different platform. So, who do my customers follow? Who do they engage with? Where do they spend time? Do they spend time on Trustpilot? Do they look at Google reviews? What kind of influencers do they follow? And what makes them take action? Is it the fear of missing out? Is it they've seen a sale? Is it because they want to be up to date with the latest fashion? Is it because they need help? Ask yourself these questions, flesh out your customer profiles, because then it's easier to start finding your influencers. And before you start finding them, just think about your business goals. So this is my favorite slide. I'm sorry if you've seen me talk before, you've seen this slide thousands of times. But if your business goal is to be the biggest shark in the water, we strap on our fake fin and we act like it from day one. We are going to be the biggest shark in the water. We're going to act like it. That means we're going to have to implement a lot more influencers because we want everyone to kind of get the buzz of the product and the service and what we're doing right now. If your goal is to be the absolute best in your niche sector, we look for very different kinds of influencers and a very different strategy. If your goal is to be spoken about as a sector leader for a specific product or service, focus your energy on affiliates and brand ambassadors who will talk about you all the time instead of one-off flashes in the pan. So spend time thinking about this. And I'm sorry it's uncomfortable work. It's uncomfortable for all of us. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So now we've done all the squirrely work and we've done all the uncomfortable stuff. How do I actually look for an influencer? Where do I find them, Catherine? How am I going to do this? Well, I'm a really big fan in finding them the traditional way. And this is the way we do it as a social media agency. So we start with selecting the right network. We spend ages and ages and ages looking at our customer profiles and really understanding our customer. And if you find that really overwhelming, don't be afraid to use AI to help you. Use AI to figure out where your audience is hanging out and who they trust and follow. So if you discover that your audience is on Instagram, pick Instagram influencers first. If they're on YouTube, pick YouTube. If they're on TikTok, and so on and so forth. Selecting the right platform is half of the battle. So spend longer on this if you need to. And then for most small businesses, I would really focus on small and authentic. A genuine, smaller, engaged following from your nano or your micro influencers is the best place to start. It's low risk for you, it's a really strong low risk test, but also it's a good opportunity to figure out if influencer marketing is going to work and if you've picked the right person. So remember, when you look for that kind of small and authentic following, think about what it's going to be like to work with that person. So spend a while looking at their account, follow that account. Don't just go straight in, don't skip straight for the good bit. Look at their ethos and their values. Massively important thing. Make sure you work with influencers who have the same ethos and brand values as you. It's vital to brand positioning that we spoke about earlier. For example, if you promote natural beauty, you want to find someone who reflects this, who isn't covered in filters all the time. If you're a vegan product, you probably don't want to be using someone who's got meat in their feed or popping up in their stories. Spend time really researching the right influencer for your brand and your business, and spend a long time looking at their ethos and values, including how they behave when things go wrong. Look at their previous content. Does it look like your brand, your business, your product, your service will fit in here? Do you feel like this is home for you? Do you like their style? Do you like what they're doing? Does it suit your business? Does it suit your customer? Is your customer going to engage with that? If the answer to any of those questions are no, look for someone else. Look at their content, that is their shop window. And then look for their engagement rates. Influencers are tricky. There is a great case study about Poppy Figgington Rice and KFC, where KFC created an influencer overnight. They bought 100,000 followers and they were inundated with offers of brand collaborations and influencers. She didn't exist, it was a fake account. There was no engagement on it. So make sure you look at those engagement rates. So look and see if people are commenting. Look and see what they're commenting on. Look and see how many likes they're getting, how many saves they're getting. Look for public data to make sure that people are engaging with them. It's not just people speaking to the ether. It's not a fake account. And when you find people that you think tick all these boxes, don't jump straight in. I'm afraid you're going to have to do a little bit of social stalking. Follow them first. Make sure you know how that influencer behaves in a range of situations, from the good to the bad to the ugly. Look at their range of content. Check if it feels right with your brand, your business, and review their public metrics like engagement and followers. Are their followers going up? Are they posting regularly on social? Really simple things to look at and monitor, and really important when helping you find the right influencer. But before you go out there and start finding all these new people, don't forget your existing fans. Go through people who follow you, go through your customer records. We had this happen with a business the other day. It turns out we've got some actual celebrities going to that business. We didn't know. They are genuine fans. And the second we realized it, we started to open up brand ambassador relationships. If you have people that are genuinely already a fan of yours, have a conversation with them about becoming regular content creators, regular brand ambassadors. See if they'd be keen to do it for exchange of products, service, or gifting, because these guys are your real brand advocates. Even if they have tiny, tiny followings, if they can send you regular user-generated content, they are saving you the cost of a photo shoot and they are saving you considerable time. So always look at your existing fans first, because they are your genuine heroes in your business story. So once you've found them and you're ready, we have to start making this a professional relationship. That's where people go wrong. Hold them accountable. So open the conversation, but make sure you have a brief first. Your brief is where you look back at your objectives, so your business goals, and understand what you want from this piece of influencer marketing. What am I after? Is it just user generated content? Is it we've got a sale on and we really want to promote it? Are there any key messages? Our product is low calorie, so you can give it to your dog more often. A key message we need to include within here. What are your deliverables? Do you want a Facebook feed post, an Instagram feed post, 4 Instagram stories? Do you want to be sent the content? Do you want to be able to use it? Always ask for paid rights, because then when you get to the point of using paid social, you will have awesome content that you have full permission to use. Give them deadlines. Find out if you will have permission to use the content moving forwards, because this is a big investment for small businesses. It is a tangible business action. You need some returns. And then once you've got your brief, again, use ChatGPT to help you, use AI to support you on this. Contact your influencer and start a real conversation. It's genuinely that simple. DMs are really common. So when I ever have businesses reach out to me about doing influencer marketing with them, it's normally in my DMs. And that varies from national press articles to gifting opportunities. We also find for us as an agency, if we DM people, we get a genuine conversation and a really good to and fro. As you go across to bigger and bigger influencers, some will have agents. It's normally very clear in the bio, and then you will have to speak to them. That is when we know it's going to start costing us money. One thing to remember when we are doing our briefing, so when we're giving them the brief, when we're reaching out of them, remember you want their real content. This is why we've approached them. We love what we do. We love their style. So don't over brief them. Don't tell them exactly what you want, exactly what to say. Include your must-haves, but give them the room to create the content that they want. It's that simple. Once you start this conversation, remember, keep them accountable and don't be afraid to send them over a really simple influencer contract. I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. So, the question everyone is thinking, question I haven't covered yet, when should I pay for influencers? Now, I am such a big believer in gifting first. Gift product, gift service, gift time. And this is why fans are so important because if they naturally already love you, they are going to be super excited about receiving a gift from you. So when in doubt, always gift product or service first. Your nano influencers, 9 times out of 10, will work for gifting. Your mid-tier might, but you may have to give a much bigger gift. Something I say to people is remember the thing you are gifting has a tangible action and it has an intrinsic value. So if they have 1,000 followers, but the followers are super engaged and you think they're right for your business, give something of a much lower value to someone you would give to 9,000 followers. It could be the same thing, but someone with 9,000 followers might want more of it to make it worth their time. Think of it as paying for advertising. Think of it as a skill swap, but always, always try to gift first. That also gives them the opportunity to really understand the product and see if you can open up a brand ambassador relationship. When it comes to whether or not you should pay someone, always think about the following things. One, be really realistic. Someone with a 90,000 following is probably not going to do it for free. If they're a genuine fan, they might do it for a gift and definitely ask for that first. But be really realistic. If you're going to offer them a gift, offer them something of a high value. Don't give them something worth £12, give them something worth 500 and see how that works. And within this conversation, always think about the return on investment. If they want £1,000, how much do I need to sell to make that £1,000 back? How many email subscribers do I need? How many social following increase do I need? Think about that return on investment before you take the action and pay the bill. So we're at the point where we found our influencers, we've contacted them. So how do we hold them accountable? First of all, remember that working with influencers is a professional working relationship. So it's okay to hold them accountable. This means you can issue influencer contracts, really simple contracts which state what you're offering and what you expect in return. It matches the brief that we've already spoken to them about. Remember within here to ask for reporting, and these are the metrics we care about. So, sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. Pardon me. So, these are the metrics we actually care about and we actually need them to report. So, these are reach. How many people actively see the content? Engagement, how many people engaged with the content, and anything else that is trackable. Now, that will depend on if they've implemented things like links, what platform they are using. If someone doesn't sign your influencer contract, it is completely acceptable to walk away from it. They don't have to be fancy, and we are seeing more and more people going, if you don't hold up this side of our bargain, we're going to invoice you. So set those really, really clear expectations. We are giving you X, Y, and Z. In return, we want these elements of content. Please sign this contract. If we don't receive the deliverables, we have the right to invoice you for that product or service. Every influencer we've ever worked with who's been issued a contract has always come through with the deliverables. It's a really, really great way just to really hammer home that you are professional. You expect them to be professional as well. And it's great learning for nano influencers and micro influencers who want to go the next level up. So, another way to keep your influencers and brand ambassadors accountable is affiliate links. So affiliate links is where you give someone a link and a bespoke code. This is then fully trackable and you pay them on their results. So this means if 5 people sign up, you could give them a percentage cut. My favorite way to do this is to gamify it. So we've got this working for one client at the moment where we give everyone affiliate links and referral code. And for everyone they sign up, they get points. And we all know that points mean prizes. And at the end of the year, we have a big event for the influencers. We bring them all in together and we have a celebration. That keeps them really involved because you're making it fun. Another alternative is using influencer management platforms. So these are places like Awin, um, but they work so well. Both of these are paid features, but if you go across to an influencer management platform, or for example, TikTok's marketplace, you are in the realm of professional influencers. They should give you more results and they should be much more professional and easy to deal with. So, yes, these are paid methods, but you can gift instead of paying that influencer. The access is for the platform. So, remember, if you are going to use your influencers, it is a professional working relationship and you can hold them accountable. I also want you to remember that influencer marketing isn't magic. No form of digital marketing is magic. No form of social media is magic. Trust me, I own an agency. So be really realistic in what you expect in your results, especially when you're first starting. Your influencer needs to work hard for you to get paid. And we need a tangible result because we are running businesses. So remember to work at it, but remember the results can take time. The more content you share, the more influencers start to come on board, the stronger the results will become. Remember that all social media and digital marketing is about building relationships, and relationships take time. And people on both your social following and the influencer social following will be at different stages of their sales funnel. So they might take longer to convert. They might buy instantly. It might take a few posts. So understand that in yourself and understand if this influencer's influence and trust is going to get people across the line. So I can't talk about influencer marketing without mentioning the rules, and there are a few. So include these in your brief. And it's just the rule that you need to be transparent. So remind your influencer of this. Remind them to follow the ASA UK rules, which means include hashtags like gifted, ad, and PR across everything that has been a paid relationship. You can include the paid promotion tag where this is available. It's available on some platforms, but not others. And although not a rule, make sure they tag you. I know it sounds really simple, but you'd be amazed the amount of businesses we work with who've utilized influencer marketing and the influencer never tagged them or never did collaboration posts or never sent the content. So include this as a rule within your brief and make sure they show up on your feeds. If anyone is going to be using influencers on Instagram at the moment, please make sure you have a collaboration post. So finally, before I go into questions, I bet you're all sick of my voice now. What if you're an influencer and you want to level up? Well, this actually is a nice situation to be in. The best advice I can give you is really know your offering and know your audience, and then tell businesses what you can do with them or what you can do for them. So create an influencer creds deck and include some audience insights, some website traffic. Understand what's valuable to you as an influencer. So be really clear in your content what your ethos is, what your value is. Put it in your bio, nod to the key areas they could be looking for. Be prepared. So say to them, yep, I can do this, but here's my timetable. Have a conversation with them and be professional because you never know when someone wants to embrace influencer marketing but may have been burnt in the past and they're ready to take it forward and they might be scared. All business relationships can be worrying, especially when you first start. So, if you're an influencer who's ready to turn pro, spend some time treating yourself and your account as a business and get your offering super clear, like you would for any other business. So, now we've covered so much, do we have any questions?
Hello, thank you. That was so amazing. It was full of so much information. People were clearly loving it in the chat. I know you'll have it switched off, but it was everyone in the chat was giving such good feedback, and there is a few questions. So I will go through those. There's a couple kind of on the same thing about services such as training, or there's one on like accountancy and bookkeeping, those kind of things. How would you get an influencer to promote that?
So you're definitely going to look in your business bit to business sphere. So interestingly, I sell a lot of training. I have got, sorry, I was just going to start giving you a content story then instead of influencers. So what you need to do is look for people locally that people trust. So if you've got, I'll stop screen sharing. Sometimes I think it's a bit easier. If you for example, say we're accountants and we trade within a local rep. I'm just going to use Cornwall as a county because what that does is it allows you to go, okay, we are using Cornwall for an example. What we need to do is find those business owners within the county who have got a decent following, who people trust, who people respect, who people admire. And then what you need to do is open that communication and result with it. If you are B2B, it's always worth looking at your existing audience first. And we see this all the time. Someone will go, oh, actually, you're really great on LinkedIn. You're really pulling that traction forward. We work together anyway. Could you promote us in that first instance? If you are selling training, be really vocal in your social content. So tag the people you're training, then encourage them to do the same. So whenever you naturally put yourself forwards and you go, oh, I really am excited to be working with Megan today, you tag them on your socials. Megan will naturally share and forward that on. And then it's your job to actively promote that forward as well. So say to them, oh, it's been a great session today. Can we take a photo? Can we share it? So that's utilizing your first fan, your original fans first. Then go out there, find those influencers and have a conversation with them and go, can I give you some free training in exchange for X, Y, and Z? So use your free fans first, then follow the steps we spoke about, go and find them, make sure they're the right fit to your business, and then offer them some training in return. Does that make sense? Does that answer the question?
It does make sense, yeah, definitely. Linked to that, there was a question saying, how would you suggest finding influencers for business to business? Which I know you've kind of touched on, but if anything else.
Yeah, so I actually, with that, really know who your customer is because some businesses are so segregated onto little channels you don't think about. So if, for example, you're looking for accountancy, sorry, we said accountancy, we're going to pick on it. You're probably going to be in that mindset where you're open and looking for accountants on LinkedIn. So you would head over to LinkedIn. If you're looking to train and support small businesses and people who want to launch a business, you're actually probably looking at networks like TikTok, Pinterest as search socials, and potentially on Instagram. So if you know your end customer first, then it's easier to find the platform.
Perfect. Um, Another one is, so what if my best influencer is also my client, and potentially a competitor? So, I mean, from what you've said though, obviously client is fine and you can
Yeah.
make some kind of agreement to share it. Competitor though?
I mean, this is super interesting. I want to know what business this is.
So you
Um,
had added on the end, I write for another business who have just started influencing and they're doing very well.
oh, um, actually, I would piggyback off that. Does that make sense? So many people go, oh, I can't. I have trained almost every marketing agency in Cornwall. I'm very vocal about it.
Yeah.
So if someone goes, oh, they've done a great job, I'm like, oh, I'm so pleased the training really worked for you.
Yeah.
So not strictly influencer, but more piggyback marketing. And I actually love a frenemy relationship because I think what that does is it allows you to support everyone. There's so much work. So leverage their influence and piggyback off it as well.
Yeah, make the most out of it.
Yeah.
There is a couple, just to kind of group them together, but there's a couple who have basically said, so I think there's one who offer like a holiday accommodation and that price point is quite high. And they have worked with influencers in the past with agreements with for a free stay, but then haven't really seen anything afterwards. And again, someone who had said that they have had a few micro influencers get in touch about working, but they fear that they're only after a freebie and they understand the concept, but how do you guarantee that you get the things back from them?
So this is something that we look after some clients in the sector, and I think this is the sector that gets the hardest point of it. If you're paying them, go through an agent and you want a blog from it as well. I personally feel like for hospitality, for tourism, for places where you can physically stay, you want a blog or you want really, really good storytelling video content that you can use in your other assets moving forwards. Because then it also becomes a really good opportunity for you to go, we're gifting this influencer a stay, it's costing us £1,000. We are getting these 4 videos back, which if we'd gone to a video agency and called in a model would have cost us £2,000. If you go through an agent or if you issue a contract, they are legally bound. If they don't deliver, remind them gently of your contract and treat them like any other business relationship. If you issue them a contract that says they have to pay, if they don't deliver, they're either not going to come or they're going to give you those deliverables. So it's about holding them accountable at the end. Your nano and micro influencers, I mean, it's such a risk, if I'm honest. I would only ever consider gifting to them for that kind of high end if I knew I was going to get content back and I knew I was going to get tangible web links back. I'd be looking for a really good website, not just a social following. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely makes sense. I think it is a hard one, that one, isn't it? Because obviously for like the free stays and stuff, it's such a big turnover price and things like that. So it's quite a big risk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge risk. What we've done, we look after a national hotel chain, and they've actually discovered that a genuine fan absolutely loves it. Um, so now they've come the first time, they've shared great content.
Mhm.
Now we give them a free stay. We've
Yeah.
already got that relationship. We've already seen their content. So now we're just going, actually, can we or knock some money off? Do it that way.
Yeah, if you could find someone who has already been and also has a decent following.
Yeah.
Amazing. There are a couple other questions, but we unfortunately don't have time for them. But I don't know if are you happy for people to reach out to you if they want to on LinkedIn and things?
Yeah, I will quickly share my screen again, not with my annoying head in the way. Sorry, Jane, we tried that for the very first time, and I was so excited.
I
But
think it was I
obviously,
think it was very like interactive. I liked it.
I'm like, I was
Yeah,
so excited
you
because I
could
thought
point
people
to
could see
things.
me, but no one else liked it. That's fine. If people want to reach out to me, I'm everywhere at Oso Catherine. I'm the easiest person in the world to get hold of. Because of my eyes, I am on and off screens all day. So it may take me a while to get back to people, but I will always, always get back to them. So
Amazing, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's joined as well. Obviously, it wouldn't be possible without you guys too. And we're back again every day this week at the same time. So please jump on any of those as well. Thank you, Catherine. That was such a good presentation. And did you say you were happy to share the slides as well? Because then we'll
Yeah,
add them to the newsletter at the end of the week.
yeah, we'll get the slides over to you. What we'll do is get them on a link so everyone can access them.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.